All right, he's about to come on. Can anybody hear me or see me? Can you hear me or see me, Leo? Josh is coming on in a second here. All right, what's up, Josh?
How's it going? I can't see you.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to enable my camera here for a minute. So far, I understand that I can be heard. I think I have to go into my settings to fix it. For some reason, it's just not doing it on YouTube. Anyhow, I think maybe you should just kind of get people started. All I'm going to start things off with is basically since I got into the sport a little over 3 years ago, that one of the biggest things that everyone here in California talks about is that we need to have a North versus South event, and it just never really came to fruition. Everyone's, talking about it, wanting to do it. No one really made it happen. That's nothing against what King of Cali was awesome. That was insane. It was a great event, a great tournament with a few great super matches. What I love what you guys did is you picked the central point and you decided to make a super match series. So it's different and it's really, really awesome. So while I sort out my camera and being an amateur here, why don't you go ahead and start talking a little bit about how this came about and what led to this.
Okay, awesome. First of all, my name is Josh. Nowhere to Run Arm Wrestling. I'm from Fresno, California, which is in the center of the state. For the last couple years, year and a half, Casey and I, everybody knows Casey the Grizzly. We've all traveled around the state, meeting all the different teams, making interactions with people, building bonds, just seeing how great the community was. One of the main groups that we train with is the California Armbenders. Their captain is Mike McGraw. He's a time, big name in the sport. A lot of champs have came out of that garage. Kenny Hughes, Tom Nelson, Randy Weaver, Dave Owens, not to mention, Mike McGraw himself. Caleb, Velasco is the young up-and-comer from there. Just real good organization. Talking with them, we built a lot of excitement and things. And in November of last year, we did a little super match get together up there where it was the Central California and Northern California teams. We all got together. We had about 15 super matches that day. It was recorded by Nick Postel and put on Armtube so everybody could see that. It was real fun. Mike McGraw, all the Armbenders were real excited about it. All the teams were excited about it. But one of the things that the OGs kept on saying to us was that they haven't seen that type of vibe in the sport in a long time, that it was people actually coming and just putting their pride on the line, doing it for what we really love arm wrestling for. And he had mentioned that he thought it would be really cool if we had a North versus South thing. That same thing, everybody's been talking about it forever, but they can never get both sides together. And so a central location was the first thing that Casey and I thought about, trying to find a spot to where it wasn't too far for the South guys and wasn't too far for the North guys to get everybody together to come meet up. And so actually Eric Gonzalez, our team, is the one who found the venue, which is Crusader Brewing. It's in Bakersfield. And So we found that spot and got all the teams together, just talking to, again, the people that we've met, seeing if it was something that they were excited about. And it actually, it blew up a lot more than we thought it would. Us being amateur guys that are new into the sport, we're not putting a bunch of big cash prizes out for the guys. We do have some prizes that nobody knows about, things that are going to be going on that will be pretty exciting. But we're trying to do things a little bit different. We're trying to just get people together to bridge that gap. A lot of people in the state that don't even know each other, that haven't met each other, and such high level guys that it'd be really cool to see them all work together, because that's the way this community is. They all want you to grow. Everybody wants you to get better, and together we get stronger. So that was kind of the idea that started that. But North versus South, we want it to be an annual thing. We want it to be every year. We get together and we just see, where the dominant side or the dominant part of California is, and it's all in fun competition. It's getting, like I said, together we get better, and we have something to reach for. We have a trophy that actually was donated by Tom Nelson. Really cool. And so it's a California Cup, and it's going to be able to have the plaque on it for the winning side, whether it's North or South. And we'll keep that going. It'll be a legacy thing to keep it going for the years to come.
Okay, cool. Now, can you guys still hear me? Can you hear me, Josh?
I can hear you just fine. Yep.
All right. Okay, so first off, yeah, I've got my camera turned on in my settings, and yeah, Josh, bring your camera down just a little bit. At this point, yeah, right there. Yeah, just you're the man if you can really just run things down for us. And my only motivation to try and help with this live stream is I knew we were kind of
Lost you
on the receiving end of these live streams, so I apologize to everybody. We're going to try and run more of these. We're going to be doing interviews with people that are having matches, get more of the guys like Casey and Eric involved as well. The one thing that I'm figuring out really quick is that, yeah, we are going to need to link up Zoom to get multiple members on this. I tried the new YouTube feature that allows you to go live. It looks like it's only allowing one guest, and for whatever reason, it doesn't want to access my camera. So
shout out Benji, man. Where's Benji? I mean, he's an ace with these things.
Hey, I hit him up. He said he doesn't know how to do this stuff, but I don't know, man.
Oh, wow.
I think you're pulling my leg, Ben. But
that's surprising.
Yeah. Well, Josh, first, why don't you tell us how you got into this sport? What led up to this point?
Well, I've always liked arm wrestling. My whole life. I seen the movie Over the Top when I was young. Believe it or not, it's one of like 5 movies that I know word for word, like every part of the whole movie. I just, watched it dozens and dozens and dozens of times, to the point where my mom would get sick of it. Like, don't put that on anymore. Later on, arm bet. I seen arm bet come out because I was watching the YouTube videos. I seen like the WAL stuff like that, and I was just like really interested in it. I seen the arm bet come out a couple of years ago, and when it came out, I was like, wow, I can hit people up that do this. And so I hit some people up, met a couple of guys, arm wrestled, met a couple times, and then maybe a couple of months in, I met Casey. And Casey and I have been road dogs ever since, man. We started this thing and, wanted to make something just the idea where Nowhere to Run came from is just that we're going to go anywhere, wherever we have to go to get to arm wrestle. That's what we're going to do. So arm bet is what really got me into the sport, and Casey as well. A lot of other people that I've talked to, it's a really cool application that's out that links people together. And so we happen to get in right at the time that the sport is like really on a boom. It was on a rise, and it's continuing to rise right now. So, yeah, that's what got me into it for sure was arm bet and being able to meet people and see that there was actually competitions.
That's awesome. Yeah, and you guys, so far from getting to know you guys, you really seem to be class acts. But that's so gnarly how the majority of the people that you talk to, over the top, that was one of the first things that really introduced anybody to the sport. Yeah, I mean, I saw it as a kid in the '80s myself, and it was always one of my favorite movies. The funny part, it wasn't until I don't know, just kind of running into this a few years ago and training with the Alpha Empire guys with Derek and Leo and everybody that I realized that there were legitimate pros uh, in that movie. And the funny part is, I think it was my second practice with them. We all went down to San Diego to train at Grinder, and none other than Alan Fisher and John Berzink were there. And it was such a trip to be able to grip up with those guys as just, one of those gleaming, brand new guys in the sport. But that's another
Yeah.
one of the cool things about the sport, isn't it? Like, uh, there's these legends, and you can train with them. It's not like you're gonna have batting practice with Derek Jeter.
I always tell people that same thing. I
Yeah,
always tell people that same exact thing. If I was a basketball player, it would be such a long shot for me to hang out with LeBron or any of these dudes, Steph Curry, any of these guys at that level. But in our sport, they act they're humble. They're just like me and you, and we have direct contact with world champs, state champs, national champs. It's pretty unique. It's pretty unique for sure with that.
absolutely. Well, so far we have a lot of matches on this bill, and I think we'll talk about that too in terms of formatting and everything. But can you tell us about some of the bigger matches we have going on for this?
Yeah, so we have some really cool matches. Starting from uh, the lighter weights, we have Chewy Espindola. He's kind of a up and comer that not a lot of people know about. He came to Grinder last year and did pretty well at a tournament, and so a lot of people want to see what he's doing. He's going against Will Klingman, who's obviously, as you know, he's no joke at all, and so that should be a really exciting match. Then obviously yourself and Jeff. How do you feel about that match?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I've been training my ass off. You know, as far as I'm concerned, it's Alan Fisher at the other end of the table. I'm coming
Yeah.
in hard. I expect him to as well, and I'm looking forward to it. I like the guy so far, and I think he's out for blood, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, he's definitely a strong dude. He's definitely a strong dude. Yeah.
Who else we got?
And then we have in the heavier weight we have the King of California on the left hand, Tony Tomlinson. He's going to be going against Israel Chavez from the north, who's a up and comer. I mean, he's been in the sport for a few years, but he was trained with the Armbenders and Eric Wolfell. Real good pedigree. I mean, the dude's a beast, and so that's going to be an exciting match. We have Ryan Ballesteros, who's coming, and this is one of his, first matches in a while, as far as I hear. He's an OG, been in the sport for a long time. He's going to be facing Carl Gerke, who I believe just took the #1 spot in California at the Fit Expo. That's a right-handed match, I believe, and then left-handed he'll be facing Scott Partington.
Oh, both of those
Right?
would be insane. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
really like Ryan's energy too. He probably has no idea who I am, but I'm pretty sure I pulled the IFA qualifier. What? I'm at my first year in the sport up in Reno, and saw him pull. I was like, man, that guy's got grit. And
yeah,
for that type of puller to be going against both Carl and Scott, that's going to be nuts.
right,
Who
right.
do you
No,
have in
that's good.
Who do you have in those
What's
matches?
that?
Who do you have in those matches? You taking Ryan for the North?
You know, I like to be kind of unbiased about all of this. I just kind of want everybody to come and have a good time. I know they're going to be exciting matches. All of the matches that we tried to set up, we tried to do in a way that obviously the guys are interested in the matches, but we tried to do in a way to where they're not like one-sided matches. They could go either way. So, so yeah, that's what I think. I think it's going to be a good time.
Very cool. Yeah, looking forward to Chewy and Will. I haven't pulled with Chewy in a little bit. He's got a great bicep and a great hand. So that'll definitely be interesting. We have Caleb going against a couple people, right?
Right. Yeah, he's going against Zachary Wagner on the left hand, and
Ooh.
yeah, everybody knows Zach. I mean, Zach is definitely a beast left-handed. That's going to be super exciting, and they have a long history. They've met up several times, so that's going to be fireworks. And then he's pulling a little heavier guy on the right hand. He's pulling Andy Langfeld. So that should be pretty exciting to watch. Hopefully, Caleb can keep the endurance and be able to be fresh enough to pull two guys. Uh, I think he will. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be exciting. Caleb is, he's one of those dudes that when I first came into the sport, I'm a huge fan of Caleb. I mean, I'll tell you, it's not just because we live, close to each other. I mean, we're a couple hours away, but since I've seen him, I mean, when you want to talk about dedication, that dude's one of the most dedicated people I've seen in this sport. And so, yeah, super excited to watch him pull anytime.
Yeah,
For
he's
sure.
everywhere. He's very very talented. I got a lot of respect for him. And I can't say he's gonna go places. He is going places.
Oh, he's
Um,
going places. He's going to be a world champ, man. I'd put money on it. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's got a lot of tools to work with. Long arm, quick, explosive, and he's smart too. It's a lethal combo.
Right.
Um,
He's a good arm wrestler.
yeah, Zach and him are clearly going to be a really interesting match. And I got to say, with Andy, uh, my last heavy training session was this past Sunday before tapering down. And man, I felt Andy. He's feeling good, and yeah. I think he's going to give Caleb a good match as well.
Yeah, Andy. He was at the Fit Expo when we were there, and he pulled a couple of my buddies. So yeah, I know he's definitely a beast. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is all of these matches are exciting. None of these matches are like just guaranteed one way or the other. And we're all friends. We're all friends. We've all met each other. We've all met each other several times, and it doesn't matter who wins at the end of the day. It matters that we met and did this. You know.
Absolutely. And we were talking a little bit earlier. One of the things you mentioned, it really struck me in terms of the difference of this particular super match series. You mentioned that you wanted to put a lot of up and comers in this super match series, and you did. There's a
Right.
lot of interesting names in there, and and you really did take the time to make them interesting matchups as well. A lot of guys that people may have not have heard of. And can you tell people what you basically told me in terms of your motivation behind that? I think you made some really good, valid points.
Yeah. Well, because so I mean, it's about growing the sport for me because I've never found a community like this in any sport I've done in my life or anything like that. I really believe this community can save lives. I mean, when you think about it in a mental way, because of the love and the embrace of the community and the respect and values. I mean, it's huge. So, with that being said, some of the guys that have already plateaued or reached a certain level, they're not. They've been there, done that, right? So the new up and comers or guys that maybe haven't done that thing, when I went to my first tournament, I was like, dude, that super match is cool. I'd love to be able to do one of those. And I feel like a lot of guys feel like that. And when you give an up and comer that nobody might know about, or a guy that's just trying to get out there and get his name out there, and he gets to be part of the highlight of the show, the main entertainment. He gets to be on an interview. he gets super excited. He's going to tell everybody. He's going to tell his family. He's going to tell his friends. He's going to tell everybody he knows because of how excited he feels to be a part of that. And I feel like that's a huge way to spread this sport is by letting all of the people that are supporting the sport get involved, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very cool that you're doing that. I think those are really, really good points. Yeah, all these guys are going to love the opportunity. They're definitely going to share it. They're going to advocate more for the sport to be involved. And I know for one, at least the guys that you got involved from down south, they're amped. You know, we're all ready to go. I'm one of them. I'm one of the new guys, and I'm really looking forward to it. Love the trail that you guys are blazing. That's really cool. Someone in the chat mentioned, "Where's my face?" You must have just come in. My camera's not working with this for some reason. I'm an idiot just figuring this live stream thing out. But we're gonna work this out. So for right now, all I'm allowed to do with the YouTube setting that we tried doing for this is have one guest. But we're gonna sort this out. We're gonna have a lot of interviews coming up and more chats. We're gonna connect this with Zoom. I'm gonna get a little help. I thought this would be simple coming from a production background, but there's a few kinks I definitely need to work out. But
that's all right. Look at the beauty of it. We might be the first to do radio interviews with no visual. And people really have to pay attention to what we're saying.
Definitely, man. Only a trailblazer would look at it that way. All right, so
well, hey, I appreciate those compliments, but this is only possible because of you guys, because of the community we've met, and all of you guys being willing to come together. So I can't thank everybody enough. That's why this is possible. Yeah, we are reaching out and we're doing that, but this is only happening because everybody's coming together to make it happen. So thank you to everyone.
Awesome. Okay, so now the format. You put out the list today. There's a whole lot of matches there, and there's different people saying, are you going to have multiple tables? What's the plan? I've got people messaging me. How are you guys going to run this in a timely fashion? Tell us about what your plans are for that, and most importantly, what's Bill Collins' outlook on this whole thing too, because he's the one that's run Super Match Series and tournaments and everything. What do you guys think? How are you planning to do this?
Well, so they're going to be best of 5 matches, right? We were debating on that, whether we do best of 5 or best of 3. But a lot of people voiced their opinion and felt like a best of 3 match, they wouldn't get their full win or loss. Like they, with the best of 5, they feel like they, maybe have tried everything in their tool bag. Yeah. So we wanted to lean that way, best of 5. And after sitting down and speaking to Bill, we had lunch with him and we were talking about it real deep. And he's pretty sure that, well, he knows after, all of his experience with it, he broke it down and he says that he can run all their matches in about 5 hours, doing it the way that we're talking about. So I know that is a long time. We're talking about starting, opening up at noon and then starting the matches, shortly after that. So I could see it going until, 6 p.m., something like that, if we run one table. If we ran more than one table, we would just have to know or make sure that, like the other refs involved, that it worked out with Bill and everything like that, because I don't want to step on his toes as far as the reffing, because he did make it clear that there's a lot of things that go into that as far as safety and training and things if an athlete gets hurt or whatever, and a ref has to be certified in certain things. So we don't want to go in there and not have all of that prepared. So, yeah. We definitely are thinking about the time. We definitely are very big on that. That's one of the big things that we focused on. But with Bill and all of us together, it sounds like we're going to be able to get it done, whether we run one table or more than one. Now, we have 30 plus matches. I mean, we can run 30 plus tables and just do one match each and get it all over. But I think it's going to be exciting this way. I've spent more time than that at plenty of tournaments, sitting around and waiting to pull. So, and it's fine because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people in the banter, but I think that it's going to be exciting because, like I said, each person going up on that stage gets to be the entertainment. And if we do more than one table, or the more tables that we do, I feel like the less value that each match has.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Great points. I want to add a little bit to that as well, my thoughts. But first, going into the chat here, we've got Paul Stevens saying hello. And Paul Stevens is also going to be a great match to watch. Who's Paul going up against? I've barely looked at the list.
Paul's going against DJ Galvan, who's from the north. He's been pulling since the late '90s. So both these guys are very familiar with arm wrestling. They're the same weight, similar age, similar time in the sport. DJ's a beast. He does not like to lose. DJ actually had a super match last year with Kyle Depew at the Expo. So I don't know if you guys watched that. If you haven't, check it out. It was a great match. DJ came out with the victory. But yeah, it should be a really, really good match. Paul's a beast. Paul just had his match that everybody knows with Brandon Allen and came out victorious in that match. So yeah, should be a really exciting match with two big boys.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one. And we also have Don Mormon. Did I pronounce his last name right?
Yeah, Don Mormon, man, the fisherman. That's an OG armbender right there. You know, he's been around for a long time. He's had some wars with Scott Wynn back in the day, and you know, he's been around for a long time. He's went to some of the big, you know, nationals and stuff with the armbenders and Mike McGraw. He's going to be pulling against a guy, Kevin Lastly. I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with him, but he lives in Visalia. He just started a team. They were rocking with us, but they wanted to have their own logo and do their thing. They just started a team, Central California Arm Wrestlers United. So shout out to them. That's super glad for them that they're having their own team going on. But Kevin Lastly is a world champ from the 90s. He went to Russia. He represented U.S., Team USA, and he won the world championship over there. So he's definitely been there, done that. He took a hiatus from the sport. So did Don. Don's about 7-8 months back in. Kevin's a couple of years back in. But they both took, over a decade off of the sport. It's going to be super exciting. It's a Legends match. That's what we're dubbing that one.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I look forward to seeing him pull too. I recently saw a post of him finishing sanding, I guess, the texture off the ceiling somewhere. And I got to say, from one tradesman to another, Don, I look forward to gripping up with you in the after pulls or the after party.
Yeah.
You look like a strong dude.
You can definitely feel it.
Okay. We got Benjimac. Who's his match with?
Benjimac is going against Chris Avalos, who's also from the Armbenders. He's been around for the last year or two, a couple years, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure. He's definitely been around longer than me because I met him when I first came around. So he's a young stud. Chris is a young stud. He gets out there and he works hard. He's really, really strong dude. It should be an exciting match. I'm excited to see how it's going to go. If Benji's going to do his flop wrist and dive in there real deep, I'm really excited to see where that's going to end up, because that is a tricky move that Benji has up his sleeve.
Yeah, he's very strong, especially in his spot. Yeah, there's times where I feel like, oh man, I got you, but then I'm like, oh no, I don't know. He's
right.
He's very strong.
Right, and then we have Scott Wynn,
yep.
And he was going to be going against Dave Owens, but some stuff came up with Dave Owens, so we luckily were able to switch out the match. But we got Scott going against two-time national champion Aaron Blevins. So that's going to be a super exciting match. They've met up before. They have a history. And so we're excited to see that one as well.
Very nice. Yeah, I love Scott, and going against another legend, that's going to be cool. So we've got a couple comments about the amount of matches. So Damian Schlosser says, no chance, 5 hours on one table with 38 matches. Sorry. Leo Landeros, Mr. Lion Straps himself, says, recruit Alex and Vosgin to do a second table so we can get to the drinking.
See, I already wanted Alex to come, but Alex had a prior commitment. He won't even be in the area around that time. As far as I know, if something changed, I mean, that'd be awesome, right?
How about Crispin?
Crispin, yeah, I'm not sure. Last I talked to Crispin, he didn't say no. He said, maybe I could reach out to him. Hey, maybe you could reach out to him.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. I think he's a good rep. So that's definitely a possibility. But one thing I can't count out: if Bill Collins says he can get through it in 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever it was he said, then I kind of got to go with it. There's a lot of guys that have been to a lot of events, but if Bill thinks he can do that with this format, then I kind of veer more towards his perception. If he feels like we absolutely need to, and he's the one doing the work, like I'm more concerned about him being overworked. And if he's like, no, we can do this with one table, then okay. My other thoughts on this is we have very little to go off of when it comes to a super match series like this. When we think of a super match series, we think of King of the Table, we think of East versus West, we think of all these big productions where there's walkouts, there's songs, there's dead time between rounds and matches and just all this stuff. And the only other thing with super matches is maybe having 5 feature matches before a long ass drawn out tournament at events. And yeah, those super matches too to hype up the event, they kind of get drawn out too. But to me, the way this kind of seems like it's laying out is almost like a tournament, but in and of itself, but a super match series. And it sounds like you're articulating and laying this whole thing out to be very organized, rapid fire. And I do like the idea of a best of 5 where possible, at least for some of the bigger matches. A lot of these guys, pretty much everyone's going to be probably traveling around 3+ hours to get to this, whether you're from the north or the south. It's the halfway point. Right. We don't want to go for a best of 3 and be go 2 and done.
Right.
You want to feel like you really got in there. So if you do have everything scheduled out and we're not wasting a bunch of time between super matches, you would just have to do the math. How many can you get through per hour? You know what I mean?
You're right. If I could, the only thing that I see from it is just like in the data that everybody is, basing everything off of is only stuff that's been done before.
Right.
And you're exactly right. This is something new, and it's something a little bit different. It will be super matches ran at a tournament speed. There will be guys standing on deck for their super matches next. Everybody will have a program in their hand to tell them exactly when their match is. So it's going to be a lot smoother than a lot of people are projecting it, and it's because of what you're saying, because we're watching things like King of the Table and East versus West, and this is what we normally see from a super match. But yeah, these are going to be rapid fire. We're going to be getting right through them. There's not going to be a lot of downtime. There's not going to be a lot of rest time. It's 20 seconds in between matches. I think that we're settling on. We could change it a little bit from there, but
rounds or matches?
The what?
You mean 20 seconds between rounds?
Yeah, between rounds. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so things like that, just trying to cut down the time. But these are all things that we bounce back and forth. And trust me, there's some things that Bill is like, hey, you can do this, and we feel the same way. We don't want to overwork him, and we don't want to make him do anything that he can't do. But he says that he's very particular about certain things, and he likes things to ran a certain way, and he's very confident, and we're very confident in him. So yeah, I'm sure that it's going to be a very good time.
Yeah, I can't believe we got Bill Collins. That's amazing. Yeah, I personally, I'm definitely, if it could be made possible with this many matches, I personally like the idea of one table. I don't think any, especially the up and comers, where this might be their first feature super match, they don't want to have their match next to another match going on at the same time. So if we
Right.
can get away with it, it would be nice to have one table, run them one at a time. They get the crowd, they get the live stream, and they can really be in that moment, and it's cool. But maybe just as a backup plan, if there was a second table there, and we do have secured like a couple backup refs, you know, because it sounds like you are running somewhat of an order with the matches to where you might be putting more of the pro matches towards the beginning, and we
Yeah.
can kind of feel the pace out. If the pace feels like it's drawing out a little long by the end of that first half or so, maybe we can bring out the second table, run 2 live streams at the same time, get the second set of reps, and run it. I don't know. It kind of seems like a fail-safe way of doing it, but honestly, I agree. If Bill thinks he can make it happen with one table, then who am I to doubt it? You know?
Yeah, it's definitely. We don't think it's going to be easy, but we don't think it's going to be hard. So what that means is that we put in the work, and we're willing to continue to learn and put in whatever work necessary to make it run the right way. And we don't expect it to be perfect. We don't expect it to be the best thing that anybody's ever seen, or for anybody to say that. We just expect it to be a good time, and to this is all about sharing the feeling in the community. That's all it's about.
Right on. Just like this live stream, huh?
Right. Right, exactly.
Make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. It's gonna get better each one too.
I'll tell you, this live stream, I feel pretty lonely. I mean, I can hear you, but I can't see nothing. So all I'm looking at is myself. I don't really like to do that much.
I know I'm dying. I'm like pushing everything on my screen. I almost thought I ended the stream for a second trying. Yeah, my phone settings are all set to share with YouTube. My camera settings are all on. But yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on. But you're the man with the plan, anyways. I got to tell you one funny thing. What was it? Oh yeah, we were thinking about bringing. We were almost going to be house sitting my wife's sister's little Yorkshire Terrier, and we were thinking about bringing her up with us. And so I called Crusader Brewing to ask if they allow dogs. And when I told them who we were, that we were with the arm wrestling crew that's coming up, whoever I was talking to, I don't know if it was the owner or what, or a bartender, they literally were ecstatic. They were just like so excited. Apparently, them and all of their customers and everything, they're all talking about it. So
Yeah,
the local community out there is psyched for this. It sounds like just their community and the brewery itself is going to be stacking that place just for your event.
they are. Yeah, they are. They're really pumped. So Eric, like I said, Eric Gonzalez is the one who found the venue for him. He's our teammate. He's done, so much to help with all of this, all the behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows about, like the stuff that we'll see on game day. Will all be brought to you by Eric. So yeah, Crusader Brewing. They had boxing and different things that I seen them have there. And so right off the bat, I was like, hey, this is perfect. Built a relationship with Bailey, who's the owner. And yeah, talked to him. And he's super pumped about it. He thinks that this is going to be one of the best days that his employees have ever been able to see at work. So his employees are excited to come to work that day. He said he's going to have extra staff. He's opening up early for us and staying open as late as we want, basically till midnight, whatever we want. So yeah, super cool guy. He's super behind us, and he actually does nonprofits himself and everything, which we might link up with some stuff in the future, because I have a huge idea for a nonprofit that I've had since the beginning of this nonprofit called Nowhere to Run, actually, which is the name of our arm wrestling team. But yeah, I want to do a nonprofit for like at-risk youth and runaways. That's why it would be called Nowhere to Run, because they have nowhere to run. And offer them sports programs, arm wrestling, obviously, and things like that to keep them away from drugs, alcohol, gang violence, and whatnot. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
super cool guy over there at Crusader, and they're really doing some really cool things in the community. So we're blessed to be able to work with them for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's cool that you're tapping into that. I agree that this community, it really does it offer a healthy outlet. I remember when I first came to a first practice. Leading into it, I was expecting it just to, I don't know what anyone else would think. It just for it to be some ego-driven thing where I'm probably going to get into a fight, just going to a practice or something like that. But it couldn't be more the opposite. Um, Everyone was just so welcoming. It's such a kind community, and I don't know, in terms of all communities that you can be a part of in this world, at least the ones I've been a part of, arm wrestling is definitely uh, one of the most fulfilling and bettering uh, aspects of my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah, it's helped me not just grow on the table, but as a person, and the people that you meet within it. Um, yeah, I just can't say enough good things about them. My team, all of you guys up north are pretty awesome. So, in terms of, yeah, it's really cool that you planted some roots with Crusader Brewing, and they sound like a really cool establishment. That said, what's the whole plan for the future with this?
For North versus South, or just
Let's
arm
broaden
wrestling in general.
it. Yeah, north versus south, but yeah, I mean, do you have any does Nowhere to Run have any other prospects or any ideas on the horizon for California or just arm wrestling in general?
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with North versus South. Yeah, we definitely want to make this an annual thing to where we can do it every year, like I said, and pass that torch back and forth and keep each other on our toes and just see, who carries the toughest guys right now. Kind of like our own Super Bowl of arm wrestling every year, right? Um, After that, Nowhere to Run is involved in some really cool things right now. We actually have the honor of running the first ever team national championship with the UAL in Anaheim at the Expo. So it's going to be 5-man teams. I think we're pretty sure we're going to do that. And it won't be a separate tournament. It will be counted with the regular tournament. But while the people are entering the tournament, they'll put together their 5-man teams if they want. They'll compete. And at the end, there'll be a team title that whatever the best 5-man team in California wins. That's just a starting step. The idea is to get the best team from each state moving forward and make it like that baseball team or like that soccer team or whatever, and travel to different states and put up our best 5 or 10 guys against theirs. And we have state versus state super match competitions. The vibe that I have received mainly with Casey and I traveling around is that a lot of these guys who have been in arm wrestling for quite a while, they're pretty excited about this new format, and they really want to see where it goes. They said it's a lot more exciting to them. So maybe super matches is one of the ways that we can do this. And when I say super matches, I just don't mean a couple. I mean, and I don't mean 38 every time either. But maybe we can find a number somewhere, 20, somewhere in the middle, where we have a nice super match event often, to where
Yeah,
the competitors can reaching a spot to where they can get a decent payday with sponsorships and things like that. Because I've found in marketing and advertising, because that's my background, that teams are a lot easier to market than individuals. So.
right. Yeah, and for the guys that are concerned about rankings and stuff like that, at least from my point of view, super matches, I think they're not only more interesting and exciting, I guess, to watch, but I think they're a lot more defining in terms of where an athlete is at. It's
Oh,
hard
for
to
sure.
it's hard to say in a tournament. There's so many variables between the bracket, where you are in the bracket. The matches are quick. I myself, as a competitor, I often don't even wake up until, like, my fifth match or something in a tournament, and don't really feel like I've hit my groove or comfortable. But in a super match, you come prepped for it, and even if it takes a round or two to wake up, or adjust or whatever, a good 5 rounds, I think that's dedicated to one competitor is enough to find out where those two competitors are at. I really think it is a better way to go. I have nothing against tournaments. I love them. I think they're great. It's just different, and I definitely think for rankings and excitement, super matches are definitely the way to go.
Right. I agree 100%. From I'll add to that by saying that, from my athletic standpoint, the way I look at it is that, yes, the super matches definitely are they're much more defining. But in any combat sport, whether it's boxing, mixed martial arts, or anything like that, you don't go and just show up and then not know who you're competing against. You know who it is 6 weeks before. You have a training camp. You feel like you can really train for that individual that you're going against, and then it's more like a fight. It's not a coincidence. Not to say that tournaments are all like that. Tournaments are amazing. I love tournaments as well. But there is a difference with this, and it's that you can specifically train for a certain guy. So I think that's a really cool part about it.
Absolutely. Okay, so as we wrap up here, we're about 45 minutes in, and that really kind of went pretty fast. You had a lot of good information. So first, I want to mention again that we're gonna, as far as I know, what you want to do is run some interviews, maybe grouped with some of the competitors for this. What are you thinking for that? Like grouping up lightweights in a chat, or do you want to go through each match individually and have interviews? What are you thinking?
I mean, if we can get it dialed in to where we could have, 8 guys on at a time or something like that. I mean, and have all the lightweights and all. I mean, that'd be really cool because there'd be a lot of conversation. Maybe if we kept it to like 4 or something like that. That way, it's not too many people. But I think that'd be a cool way to kind of get through it. Maybe 2 matches at a time or something.
Okay.
Or a couple. I mean, a few. It doesn't have to just be 2, but just so we don't, overwhelm your channel and jumble it all in. But and then I also don't want to take too much of your time. I mean, how much, if you're willing to, do this, it's a blessing. We appreciate you. But yeah, I don't want to, feel like it's like, hey, Kane, are you ready for your 15th interview? So yeah, whatever way it really works out for you, brother, is fine with everybody, and we'll all be excited to be a part of it.
I'm gonna do everything possible. Yeah, I think 4 or so would probably be good, and we'll just hit it as many nights as possible. And I promise everybody, I'll get this straightened out. I will get by tomorrow. I will have Zoom linked up to the YouTube. They just make it a lot more complicated. I really just need to get somebody on the horn that's been doing that and see if they have any shortcuts or anything, and we'll make it happen. But honestly, tonight nobody wants to look at my ugly mug, anyways. Having the pleasure of just seeing Josh here, that's good enough.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
So, all right, is before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to cover?
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Kane for doing this interview for us and putting a little bit more light on the beautiful situation that we created. And thank you again to everybody in the community. Subscribe to Kane's channel.
All right, thanks, Josh, and thanks everybody else. We'll keep everyone posted for when we're going live next, and what's going to be going on.
All right, thank you, brother.
All right, have a good night, Josh.
Yep, peace.